starting up. And we are live. This is great. Now let me start the recording. And we are now recording, so let her roll.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go to speaker view. We're on.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in for the final hour and a half or so of our festival today. We're going to just get started right away. Hear some poetry from Tatiana Figueroa Ramirez. Tatiana?
Thank you. Say my name when you speak to me. I am not your baby. You are not my father, papi, or daddy. We do not share blood. We do not share love. And I am not your mommy, mamacita. If you were my son, your tongue wouldn't know how to twist letters into disrespect, calling a woman out of her name. Say my name when you speak to me. I am not honey, for nothing sweet drips from my lips when you address me as such. I am not doll, not a toy to be played with, not a molded piece of plastic fabricated in masses. I am not boom boom shorts, red shirt, or striped dress. My clothes don't rename me, as I know your shoes don't make you Jordan or LeBron. Say my name when you speak to me. You will not ignore I am a perfumed combination of titans, royalty, and ethereal effervescence, reducing my title to a whistle blown down the block. You will not butcher what my mother chose for me. You will not erase the lineage that survives through me. My name is an ode to the grandmother who taught me the spirit's living, an ode to the great-grandmother who proved women are strength, an ode to the gems born after me, an ode to me and mine. My name is poetry. Charged with clear consonants, rich in rolling R's, syllables dance together in a language you better learn. Not up for interpretation, yes, you better learn. And if you don't learn, just don't speak to me. Don't speak to me if I didn't give you my name. It may be too much for your mouth to bear, a force too powerful for you. Don't speak to me if you can't say my name, my full name, the name you will respect. To you, my name is Ntana if that wasn't in our introduction. To you, my name is Mpucha if you didn't birth a bouquet. To you, my name is Ntati because you're feeling lazy. To you, my name is Triplet Chacho Boricua fam, cuz, sis, boo, no. You don't know me like that. To you, if you're lucky, my name is Tatiana Figueroa Ramirez. Yes, you better learn all 11 syllables seasoned with Caribbean pronunciations and dipped in East Coast grit. You better learn, and don't forget the vowels that linger. And don't forget the T's with the quick step, and don't forget the O. No, never forget the O. Yes, you better learn my name in the name of every kid who has an ethnic one. In the name of the island that is my mother. In the name of the language which gifted me words. You better learn how to say my name if you expect me to say your name right. You better learn how to say my name if you dare to ever speak to me. It's Tatiana Figueroa Ramirez. Say my name when you speak to me, or don't say anything at all. All right, so that was one of my poems from my first collection, Coconut Curls y Café con Leche. Thank you so much for having us here on this day. I'm really excited to hear everybody who's left, and I'm excited, I was really excited for the performances earlier today. So I'm gonna do a couple of poems. And this next poem that I'm going to read, it basically, I'm Puerto Rican, based out of the DMV, and growing up in a Puerto Rican family where a mixed heritage, right? We have the African ancestry, the European ancestry, the indigenous ancestry. Yet I find that a lot of the times in Latinx culture, the African history and the African roots is erased, and there's a lot of erasure in the culture. And with everything that's going on, I feel it's more and more important to reiterate that Black Lives Matter. A conversation with the Diaz. Buenos dias. I am greeted by hot coffee blowing foggy clouds of caffeine into the air, a black pool sweetened and savored since childhood. The arroz con gandule boiling to blend colors and textures rooted across continents. News reports battle salsa dancing between walls, hoping this house of a world will grow beyond machismo and a desire to be white. Headlines flash in scarlet. Se intensifican protestas en Estados Unidos y de la nada this home becomes a sanctuary for supremacists. My throat sandpaper from having Black Lives Matter flame from my mouth too many times. My ears muddy banks from the flooding of all lives matter force its destruction through holy lands. My heart is a bomb, ticking closer to eruption every time relatives insist, no somos negros. And I repeat, you are racist. Skin attempting to crawl inside out de la vergüenza of how infected my people are, a plague playing with pueblos and países to ignore they are children of la esclavitud. Dime, if saying Black Lives Matter disturbs so much, then what do you believe? Do you believe Skittles, toy guns, traffic, jogging, cigarettes, living while Black are all reasons to be killed? Do you believe melanin is a sin because you fear me for dañando la raza? Do you believe Black lives do not matter? Dime, if all lives matter, then why cut Black from your tongue, splitting yourself as you prove we both bleed red? Why gag a people with backs broken into bridges for you to cross? Why act like Brazil is not one of us? Why pretend a Klansman knows the difference between you and a Black person? Dime, si no somos negro, then quit mofongo and sancocho addictions. Never again reminisce of Loisa's beauty. You are forbidden from craving bomba y plena and any paranda. Stop frying yuca like you created it. Celia Cruz is now banned. Forget Ochun, Chango, Chemaja, or Batala. When your white gods of a country leave you forsaken in inundated darkness, you cannot invoke deities you deny. Do not sing hymns of a free land as you step on the neck of a Black body. Dime, if you were not racist, then accept Abuelita was Black as diamonds buried in Sierra Leone, our hips inherited from women meant to outlast birthing the sun and no mercy, our curls gifted by Abuelita's seed, our veins thickened by the forest of the Congo. So if you were not racist, say Black Lives Matter until you are hoarse. Black lives mattered yesterday, and they matter today, and they will always matter. And though my voice scrapes in pain from screaming Black bodies are not disposable, I will snap my vocal cords if it means a Black baby will grow to breathe in peace while Black. Because remember, Latinidad is the fruit of rape, robbery, and slavery. There is nothing to romanticize with the erection of monuments for men who carved us to the bones. There is nothing to celebrate if you do not honor who gifted you the tan skin you worship. We would not be without Black people. So repeat after me. Black lives matter. All right, so I'm gonna move straight into another poem. So a lot of my poetry, it does deal with my Puerto Ricanness and my Latinx heritage, but it also deals a lot with empowering people of color, uplifting those voices, amplifying those messages, and specifically women of color. So my previous poem was about Black Lives Matter, and this next poem is specifically about Black women. A poem for the euthanized. Black and buckskin tones reflect golden rays of sunny days, blessing smooth coats of fur. Chocolate poured over an athlete's body, bred to fight, to protect, to survive, a body built to intimidate a world it wishes to love. Running under magnolias and between daffodil-laced fields, a body built to live in steel ropes hidden behind the house so as not to scare. Gray, blue, green, and brown jeweled eyes make this beast an enviable animal. Curves and power doctors dream to study and to mimic and to claim as their own creation, as if God themselves did not conjure these shapes only found in nature. Envy and dreams clearing vision to see a justice system voided against their beautiful Black and brown colors. Over 20 countries have laws against pit bulls. The Americas, Europe, Asia, segregating, sterilizing, euthanizing, locked in chains, their kind a crime, undeserving of mingling with others, undeserving of living, illegal to be Black, I mean a pit bull, stolen from their homes like property sold owner to owner. Once America's breed, symbolizing strength and courage, flags tied around her throat like a bandana or maybe a noose. Color bleeding as knots grow tighter in a time of war, defending a nation against a globe, defending patriotism that would one day repaint her into a bitch worth leaving in the streets. Pit bulls, the abused, the abandoned, and still the second most tolerant. Test patience and a chihuahua will bite first. And I read German shepherds attack more people and have one of the strongest bites. Strong enough to break a bone like how a lightning bolt cracks a tree. And I know German shepherds are police dogs. Obedient, I've heard, and smart. Imagine something you cannot stop patrolling your city, protecting and serving. Pit bulls, the abused, the abandoned, and the most killed, 40%, and the most common in shelters, 50%. 20% of Black women raped, nightmares silenced by questions and more silence, 40% of Black women abused, bruises blending into foundation and concealer, 90% of Black women know their killer, death promised inside a home. I couldn't find these numbers for German shepherds. Once called the nanny dog because the pit bull is loyal, she is caring, because she gives from her own milk to nourish a child lighter than her, because the Black woman is 3 times more likely to die from labor. Not like her own pups who die because she has a job to do. And she remains a mother, a martyr with no statue in her honor because she is a slave to the society not molded for her. She is told to not feel pain. She is gagged until her voice forgotten. She is shadowed and her face blurred. Her name scratched from stories. Her body pushed into shelters and graves. Pit bulls, Black women. Do not say Black women deserve to be erased, to be raped, to be abused, to suffer in your place, to carry a generation they did not birth. Do not say any Black woman deserved to die. So I just want to say thank you again to the Boog City family. This poem was actually published on the site, so I really appreciate that poem found a home. So for my last piece, I like to end on lighter notes with my sets. So this next piece is also from my book, Coconut Curls y Café con Leche. And this one is, as I mentioned, I really like to focus a lot of my poetry on people of color, women of color, and more specifically, young women of color, because, you know, the world we live in, it's a society that isn't particularly kind to young women of color. And I like to do whatever I can to uplift these young women of color and make sure that they're looking into their futures with a brighter light rather than letting it be dimmed by what other people say. So I just want to say thank you all for your time. Thank you for listening. And I will leave you with this. Things my daughter must know. You are beautiful. Be your complexion a cluster of quartz, a cousin of liquid bronze, or pure ebony that flows into the garden of black gardenias kissing your skull. Each coily petal caresses your mind that must know you are beautiful. I'm sorry if you don't hear it enough. You must know you were born into a world that thinks you too much, too smart, too bold, too revolutionary, a world too small to contain you. No governments exist that wish I did not have you. You, the daughter of an open sea blessed by Jemaja herself. You, the descendant of warriors. You, the child of your own pure being. You are beautiful. Know you are loved and deserve to be loved. You must know not everyone will love you. You will be called out of your name, touched without your consent. Respect cannot be taught. You must know you don't deserve this. Know you are better than this. You will fight this. You are beautiful. My baby girl, my blood runs through you. From the way you may think too much down to the point in your toe, you are my child. No, I was strong, death and I acquainted. Tears preserve sanity. Even in silence, I ran away into line breaks and metaphors. Escape if you must. You with the names Milka, Monserrate, Erminda, Ebony, Mariana, spelling the smart words on your tongue, forming your fingers into fists in the air, pushing breath into laughter. Know those names were strong. They survive and smile through you. Know you are strong. I hope you don't have to be, but you must know you are strong. You, woman molded in Shango's fire with the force of Ochun's rushing rivers. You, a mother of tomorrow, resisting the restraints placed on you, you will move forward. Mija. But remember, Callejon Bosque, the concrete cradle where island nights rocked me to sleep with coquí lullabies. Don't forget El Caribe. where your ancestors built you a home. You must know our homes. You must know your homes. You, Boricua, with bomba beats pulsing through your chest and salsa rhythms rolling off of your hips. You, Caribeña, with boleros breathing through your gaze, emitting and mixing into your scent. You, a dream thought impossible. You must know you are Puerto Rican. You must know you are Black. You must know you are loved. You must know you are strong. You must know you are smart. You must know you are fierce. You must know you are bold. You must know you are a revolution. My daughter, you must know you are beautiful.
Thanks, Tatiana. That was Tatiana Figueroa Ramirez, everybody. You can read some of her work and some of Christina's work and a whole bunch of other stuff in the issue, which is online at boogcity.com. And without further ado, here is Christina Beasley.
Hey, thanks so much for having me today, and thanks to everyone at Boog City for putting this together. It's been a really fabulous event and so wonderful being inundated with so much great art right now. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. I'll be reading a couple pieces from the current issue of Boog City, as well as a couple of pieces from my current working manuscript. And I'm reading on paper, which I guess is very old-fashioned given that this is entirely virtual, but I can't help it, so here we are. Apocalyptic. Whenever I kiss you, the crescendo convinces me that it's the last kiss. Not only of my kisses, but of all kisses. That the nuclear war has begun, and this sound, this blast of noise and flavor, is the end of one world and the beginning of another. And maybe this new universe where I find myself is more simple, more warm than this other life where I was less fragmented, less afraid, and somehow less beautiful. Ode to a mullet. Not every hairstyle can keep a neck this dry and remain this seductive. This headlined by Swayze and Bowie, this silky, this pronounced as a bouquet of pampas grass with such a confounding distribution of mass, this long-legged and short-armed, this Tyrannosaurus-like, this capable of glam rock ballad, this grown and devoutly maintained, this unafraid of consequence, going this far against the grain. Sweet mullet, this legacy is yours, this transcendence of generation, gender, and gravitational field. Arthropod underbelly. Gutter crabs mostly eat cigarette butts and slide around sewers on slime trails. They have no natural predators, but breed slowly, couples decreed by glorious crustacean nation. They've seen no sunsets, but hear tales from their grandfathers. They daub the tunnel's flap gates with rust and moss. They painstakingly depict the world, these pungent, tobogganing Picassos. Gutter crabs don't pretend to have a purpose. They don't bother. Jubilant, they work, they cry, they dream, they crash into waste treatment systems and poison the soil. They become radioactive. There is no logic to happiness. It might be a learned trait or something in the water. The city dump. I visit to admire what I've made. A colonnade for rats and flies, a gallery of human wants. This foothill, this ambition of a god, a decade for a ridge and a lifetime for a peak. We assemble our annual elephant of trash, admire our hall of misplaced wonders. Here, the earth is heavy with the labors of its former loves. The tragic semi-slug. It cannot fit into its own shell. Liquid crystals spill out of its torso like a theater clerk's popcorn machine. Its legacy, a trail of mucus, like a human with a terrible cold and no tissues. Its movements similar to a sneeze. It has constructed a shield awkwardly grown out of it, the eternal preteen of detrivores. An overlooked species, a wanderer until carved pumpkins are forgotten and rain lingers against the carpet of leaves. Okay, my last poem, Landlord. I feel this body is not my body. It's more like I'm custodial staff, expected to maintain this building forever. The construction might be impressive, but I spend a fortune on wood polish, brass cleaner, industrial vacuums. The floors creak. My spine is a stairwell and my mind is a skylight. I think of the emergency exit when it's too much to manage for an unpaid position. When visitors complain, I say, I'm sorry, I merely work here. The conditions are what they are. I can only change so much. I can't rebuild. Demolition, too costly. I don't know who would pay for it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Christina. That was Christina Beasley, everybody. A couple more poets, and then a whole bunch of Poets Theater and some music. Next up is Chukwuma Ndulu. And Chukwuma, it's all yours.
All right. Hello, folks. Thanks for having me. You guys can hear me, right? Everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Happy Sunday. This one's called Docs. There are things I never told you about the summers, enough to fill the thickest left-handed Bible. The boys with their flat and rosy knuckles, living the dream of fighters, tangle, twist, ache. What we did with little reason, betray the weaknesses of disused lovers, roll through parties in sixes. On the banks, you can smell personality cooked over tin foil. Tears with every jab, blood with every blow. Remember the utility in loving fitfully. Disassembled friends, we drown now below the currents, carrying pocket curses, filling the gorge 7 axe handles deep. Okay. This is a newer one. This is called Passion of the Aimless. Pray for any manner of divine deluge, a kindness of crocodile tears, a landslide of concerned yellow memos, invoices for past caresses. How committed you've become to frangible lands of memory, caught often plying the spine of each recklessly shifting calendar. You've been developing a blues style, forming a litany of grievances between blacknesses, plans to pace away days, to leave smeared gray trademarks across antique white walls. Have you raised your rain-starved palms to those heartless and exhausted stars, looking to find some comfort, only to have your scattershot pleas get lost in a din of pinpoint indulgences? Okay. This is another new one. This is called Catechism. All right, so Catechism. Never one to believe in danger, you singed every inch of your top skin, naively lit your fingertips dipped in fluorescent propylene glycol slicks. Your mad pursuits of approval returned with broken ankle or sprained jaw muscle. And now, while wrapping a sore knee or picking the shrapnel of failure from your body, you're often reminded of mother's insistent chiding, time will teach you. Even though, long ago, you decided while flipping through the latest gospel or gossip journal that you, in fact, are a terrible student. This is called Epistle in the Crease. It's actually in my, I should have brought this out before. This was actually in my chapbook, Voice Quarter from Ugly Duckling Press. So get it while you can. And this is Epistle in the Crease. Morning thoughts of you served over easy. The daily game of Loves Me Not played out in the mirror with hollow points. This chamber fits one comfortably before the party is unbearable. Leftover radiance is boiling on the hot plate. Names are dropped and slurped. Today seems like any day. The pains radiate now, minor nauseas like a first shot of tobacco. The other night you walked over water slicks and lifted heels in a blouse that suggested menace, looked at me with pie eyes larger than your appetite. Here I sit, union style and Shiva. What do you consider fair, darling? Can I call you darling while daydreaming of endings? I left the black rose next to your gate. I left the black mark on my sucking thumb. I smoked a black cigarette under a skeletal transept. Teach me again to be ticklish. Show me that charm still counts. Nothing is romantic in self-flagellation when scars cover most major muscles. Give a name for the mechanism that removed my growth from your leg and heart. All right. On a lighter note, this is called Chatterline. This was back when people actually touched each other, if you remember that. Chatterline. Admittedly, the limping idea of fun has changed. The stranger with a Confederate smile keeps backdancing closer to you, stopping from time to kiss a companion. You ditched your date to follow easy virtue into a portalette. All bodies taste salty. All quick mouth movements are labial. Answer the phone. It's most likely an invite to another champagne jam. Your favorite operators on party lines are Scarlet and Musky. You tell young sailors they smell like Caribbean Sea. You have a nasty habit of cutting your milk with scotch, inviting unsaged spirits to bed. Okay. This is called Blown Out Candle Blues. This was written during a birthday, I think. It was a birthday alone. Ah, yes, the birthday's alone. All right. Blown Out Candle Blues. A defeated fog loiters platform level. There's a spoon in the sky ladling new days in terrible succession. Wish for rain, hard pelting, acrid and merciful. Forget that this is life after wartime. Forget to be empathetic to the white man slouching down the street, looking to score one way or another. Forget to understand territory of words and sense. On the way home, welcome the reticent mugger. There's so much to tell him about impermanence. Fun. Okay. I have a few more for you. This is a ode to microplastics. It's called Compost Obeyed. No point trying to divine a future from thrice brewed coffee grinds. We all share a similar fate. I've embraced futility in recyclables, stopped collecting goodbyes and empty soup cans. Tomorrow's melting, no audacious Volta will change this. I've become quite the historian. Every bit of everything ends up in gutter before coming back to take up permanent residence in the body, be it bladder, lungs, or ever-keeling brain. And like a gracious host, I open my heart, greedily waiting my turn. So this is one on a lighter note because I know times are tough and everybody's alone. No, I'm just joking. It's actually about unchecked capitalism. So this is called News from the Trench. In the open, no names are bartered, only toadish grunts when weaving through battering ram prams. There lowers the occasional hush of sorry when space is in such short supply. There's no choice but invasion. Narrowed pupils are our most valuable defense now, used to parry down strangers in daily skirmishes during this ongoing war on living. So used to living off the crust, we settle into the most austerity with clenched teeth, when all the clothing can be freed with just a brick, all the grocery can be freed with just a brick, most debts broken with a dull ingot. Instead, we are jostling for a spot on the precipice, rattling copper cups while planning the next penny-pinched offensive, ignoring that the Atlantic stifles any hope of retreat. Okay, and this is my last poem. It's called Sacrifices at the Altar of Chicken. Thank you again for having me, folks, and for listening, for being part of this. Happy holidays and all that. There's no name for this. The burning between your chafed fingers, the smell of birch smoke from your jutting navel. Don't fool yourself, winsome Studley. This is what love feels like. This is nothing short of sacrifice. The paring knife you twisted deftly around your thumb, the last parsnip moldering in the corner, all great places to start your rites of innuendo. There's a man in the corner flashing a gaudy pinky ring. He's trying to arrest your eye long enough to display his gaping grimace. His pain is your pain too. When you lay your head against the felt of the billiards table, it's hard not to feel the target. Please don't fret. There's an art to this. There's no romance left in an empty pool. There's no romance left in an empty wallet. There's no fondling in a shallow pool. Once upon a time, all us muties believed in the possibilities of moonlight and popcorn sermons. All hurt is hope. Bury me deep enough that the earth will push me into something new. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, thank you. That was Chukwuma Ndulu, everybody. We've got two more poets. We're gonna have Patrick Pritchett, and Amy King is coming along from another hour. So first up, here's Patrick Pritchett. Patrick.
Thank you, David, and it's great to be here. Thanks to John Mulrooney, and man, I've just heard so many mind-blowing poems already. It's quite galvanizing, so it's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to read a few poems from my latest book, Refrain series, that came out in the year of COVID. So who will remember anything? One. And suddenly it seemed to me we were truly of the sky. A part of it has a wing as part of its soar, bladed in flight and alight with blue thrusting muscle, exerting form against the pulse of gravity. And across wide miles of space that enfold us, everything is horizon and receding. The day and what's ever in it, the hour as it's left behind, warm odors of grass and late August sun, a wren pecking at the porch rail, and every song on the internet set free, returning to its maker for a festival of legacy. Van Zant and Wayne Shorter and four last songs, which slay me so dainly in short order. The ring of fire closes over, and whoever is drunk now will stay drunk in heaven or New Haven, all evening copying the pages of dew into their notebook, making a change into the next and humming intricate descriptions of the way trees move in the wind, flaked filaments falling, things which do not last. Evensong, prismatic effect, he said, ruins the poem. But a devotion to the ordinary, like a lover's ballad for a lost ring, something so trivial no word can quite gift it, lifts from the unmade bed a melancholy appraisal written at 2 in the afternoon. Shall we know how spent we are, how curbed yet transparent, alive in a quaver, atone for the missile of the threadbare poem? Often we are permitted to inch forward into sunlight, a field unfolded of longing for the grass flowing under shadow and without it. A hand's span of Segura incarnating gaps against the measure of the day, where everywhere the relics of light are strewn, and it is light misconstrues why we came here, why any song sings cinders. 1,000 scars must heft his broken tablets down an empty boulevard. No evening is without angels. Even the bare air weaves a small, far-off voice, seeking amends for the gone rhapsodies of fire. The unpurged images of day recede, and the bright sidereal hand dips out of its well to scatter unease among the denizens of pearl, sleep, and desire. I dreamt of you again last night, wrapped in a black sheath with a silver scarf around your neck and your long black hair. You were serene in your going. The night became a drift through many rooms. We floated. Your sharp precision limbs spell out the scissors of parentheses like a threshing combine hewing late summer corn. This is the holiest day of the year. May our song make it last. By a white spike, they enabled the law. The blank fire where we wrote our names and went blind. Each sparrow alights on the rail with a sigil that signs all our names in the dust, kingdom of what is. I was listening to starboard. The small rain down can rain, and the devil has the people by the throat. Desolation Row sings out nothing or amen. The promises of refrain are not so much that they repeat or carry forward a simple mode of melody, a self-resembling that is different yet constant, and in its circular motion before. No, not that. The promises of refrain are not mere recurrence, not exactly, but neither a minute series of repetitions signaling the micro sway of some deeper difference. They are not affirmations, that hoariest of poetic moves, though without them nothing can be affirmed. A refrain is only ever a faint and shimmy within the abyss of a mirror, the promise of infinite replication, but since that too is a crushing bore, then the promise of a certain sled of words gone astray, that never quite materialized, made immortal for a minute, the ontic play of pretty confusions, with a prayer the hammer makes before it misses the nail. In every prayer the hammer misses, as it was meant to. This is the true meaning of prayer, not to want what we want because we are ghosts, because before we are ghosts, we are just these bodies gleaming with light, supernal, absurd, diaphanous, who in the dust-saving bloom tends a garden so that all shadows show in the ground of the now, archaic rune for rendezvous under sweetness until sweetness must disappear. And I'll close with that. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Patrick. That was Patrick Pritchett, everybody. And we're going to end the poetry part of this evening with Amy King. Amy.
Oh, hi. I was still muted. Can you hear me? I can't see it so.
Turn a little.
What's that?
I can't. Could you turn it up a little?
Okay. There we go.
That's better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. If everyone else could mute themselves, that would help with the video. Thank you.
Can you all hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay,
There
good.
we
I had it connected to a Bluetooth speaker, I think was the problem. So I am going to try to actually read from my phone, which means I can't really see you guys in Zoom. I have paper, but I just decided I'll read a couple of new pieces that I've been writing. Thank you, by the way, David, for inviting me, and I'm really sorry for being late. And again, I can't see you guys, so I don't even know what I look like. I'm in the middle of grading finals and just everything's crazed. These pieces I've been writing, I'm going to read just a couple of them. I've been writing kind of in the vein of John Berryman, and now they won't open, of course. In the vein of John Berryman's dream songs, because, well, that's just the route I've been going. And they're to a woman named Charlie who I alternate. The dream songs, of course, are related to, he talks to Henry, his persona. So I talk to Charlie, who also goes by Chuck, Charles Jr., etc., after Prince Charles of England, which is a long story. But anyway, Prince Charlie does Party Park at Night. You climb the trees, you take the trees as your wedded wife, you drink the trees, you give back to the trees, your fertilizing life. This is no giving tree special where the female of the species sacrifices life, her own. For Charlie is a person too, female, ready to risk it all for her ride or die, her peace, her life. You made me a mirror ball, made me a for us all, very William Blake of you, bringing us together in your sound, bringing us together, dear one. Drink the trees, drink the trees, drink the trees. I steal a car for you. It is like my heart, the shape of Texas. And if I can get it open. Okay. Okay, this is called That Night We Danced All Night. If I can get it open. Here we go. That night we danced all night. Your breasts are divinity school. Charlie, your tits are divine by screen, but what do they taste like in person? The body of your body, flesh of your flesh, this bread that gets us off, the hook for our sins, the scarcity of yeast correlates directly with my need for redemption. With Megan Thee Stallion's body, we couldn't get enough body. Body, 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 bumping into long distance. If I were less human, I'd be the alien transporting my body to your body, New York to Colorado. Why does Megan know the need to talk body in this great remove, this great divide that is mask to mask, distance to distance? How are we apart, pulling together the metaphysics, the deeds to get back body to body, the sweetening distance of shadows? Okay, that's all I'll read from that. And I'll just do a couple from Paper as, I forget the woman's name who read a few poems ago, who read from Paper, which I like the concept of. These are just short pieces that I thought were kind of fun. Become the God you choose. My boyfriend is showing me the inside of his head, trying to get a little candle into the crevices to see what lurked in what darkness. We couldn't move past the paralyzed legs of his boyhood until we crawled over the words of his father, the dead things, beating him not for growing up, for not becoming a real man. Postscript, I do not know how any of this happened since I am gay and not yet a man. These were published in Diagram recently. Feel up the light. I swear if how do I make love to the world is wrong, then call me Jesus and crucify me. The day my halo arrived, it was raining. The Lord was raining. It was all playing through the pain. The Lord was ourselves as reductive strategy and color me love. Call me queer to explain my irrational crimes of humanity. Sex forgets we were more gatherers than hunting, though we do hunt to fill the void we hold on to as a sign of our depths. Nuts, dandelions make tea and salves from the forests we echo that are no more real than fields of skies behind skies behind skies. But we repeat bury the moon down through our inside layers, our blood of dead supernovas, as strategy, as sinew, as bending reaps anyone becoming, which is still really all of us. Heroes harvesting always other people. You get down on your knees to feel up the light on its way, hurtling from universes away, dying to become us. And I'll just read one more because I really don't even know how long I'm supposed to read. I'm sorry, I'm so disorganized. Another sex poem. God, it's all pandemic. All sex all the time. That's the title. All sex all the time. Everything is made of sex. Even when the woman yells in the airport at the people, the throbbing crowd tensing out, to stop fighting. She's had enough. That is sex. The air around stills, and that is sex, taking shape. The sex holds the angered air, rippling tense, taut, electric, asking someone to give it shape. The fact of her stilling us, the fact of her holding us when we want to be controlled, contained in the face of our torment, that we are arching out before her voice, seeking the sex of her power to calm us, to carry into ecstasy that which we are screaming to each other for, to guide us there. Why won't you do the thing that gathers each to each and lifts us into one of 9 circles of heaven? Why won't any one of us show our wings and take me, deliver me to what I'm crying for? And she did. She took her voice and molded it into atmosphere, into the wings that gathered our cries, and both became the flecks of feathers and held the feathers aloft. For each of us to turn and find the envelope surrounds where we came from, held tight, bursting out, the tears, wet, the fear, laughter, her voice, our tongues, our cheeks, her wings, the sweat of everything, sex. Thank you. And happy holidays to everyone.
That was Amy King, everybody. Thanks, Amy. We're going to have a whole chunk of Poets Theater right now. Bill Considine, are you there?
Yes.
All right, so here's Bill Considine to introduce the Poets Theater. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, David. We return to Poets Theater with playwright John J. Trouse. John is the director of Oradell Public Library and author of 6 books of poetry and 1 of parody, Latter-day Litany, the latter staged off Broadway. He has participated in the Boog City Poets Theater Festival and other Boog City events on and off since 2012. He is a founder of the William Carlos Williams Poetry Cooperative, based in Rutherford, New Jersey, and former host curator of its reading series. Appearing in this play are Kathy Cavallone and John J. Trouse. They've brought us a memorable encounter as a great judge and an intergalactic villain discuss women's rights. Let's take careful notes as we hear a conversation between Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Darth Vader.
All respect for the office of the presidency aside, I assumed that the obvious and unadulterated decline of freedom and constitutional sovereignty, not to mention the efforts to curb the power of judicial review, spoke for itself.
No, I am your father.
Arizona presents no specific reason for accepting capital defendants from the constitutional protections extended to defendants generally, and none is readily apparent.
No, I am your father.
Dissents speak to a future age.
No, I am your father.
Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of.
No, I am your father.
I said on the equality side of it that it is essential to a woman's equality with man that she be the decision maker, that her choice be controlling.
No, I am your father.
I would not like to be the only woman on the court.
No, I am your father.
It is not like I have gone crazy. I just don't want to take any chances. You never know what could happen.
No, I am your father.
It is not women's liberation. It is women's and men's liberation.
No, I am your father.
My mother told me to be a lady, and for her, that meant be your own person, be independent.
No, I am your father.
My mother told me two things constantly. One was to be a lady, and the other was to be independent. And the law was something most unusual for those times because for most girls growing up in the 1940s, the most important degree was not your BA, but your MRS.
No, I am your father.
Reproductive choice has to be straightened out. There will never be a woman of means without choice anymore. That just seems to me so obvious. The states that changed their abortion laws before Roe are not going to change back. So we have a policy that only affects poor women, and it can never be otherwise.
No, I am your father.
She never envisioned a legal career for me, but she did think it was very important that I be able to support myself. And I think she would be pleased to see what has become of me.
No, I am your father.
So that's the dissenters' hope, that they are writing not for today, but for tomorrow.
No, I am your father.
Who will take responsibility for raising the next generation?
No, I am your father.
Women will only have true equality when men share with them the responsibility of bringing up the next generation.
No, I am your father.
Thank you. Thank you. We all learned a lot there. Very informative. Thank you. Our next play, moving right along, is by Alan Yashin. Alan has had dozens of his plays performed in venues throughout New York. He is a member of Polaris North Theater Cooperative and the UFT Players. His plays can regularly be seen at Plays and Pizza at Lucky Jack's Lounge. His latest musical comedy collaboration with Norman Zamchek was called A Royal Pain. Alan authored the novel Protected and co-authored with Milton Polsky the play collection Cry a Little, Laugh a Little. His plays can be heard on Ina Chadwick's program What a Story on WPKN 89.5 FM. Alan has been blessed with a vision in which God has a few closing remarks for us. We'd better listen devoutly as God gets ready to close the final curtain.
I turned my back for what was like a blink of an eye, and they screwed everything up. Like what? How long was it? And they ruined it. I mean, like, I took my time with it. This was no rush job. I gave it lots of thought. Got some of my best people in on the planning, the exterior, the interior. It was all looking good. I mean, 6 whole days. Wouldn't you think that was plenty of time to get things just right? But no. And look at it now. Going to hell in a handbasket, if you'll pardon the expression. I mean, I wish I could just take things into my own hands, get everything back into tippy-top shape. But I can't. I got to play by the rules. Even I got to play by the rules. So I got to leave it to those lunkheads down there. Half of them don't pay any attention to what's going on in front of their noses. At least the other half takes some responsibility for the mess they created. But is anything really being accomplished? Oh, let's build a wind farm. How about some solar energy? Let's charge a nickel for plastic bags so the fish don't end up eating them for lunch. Styrofoam is a no-no. All very nice. But a drop in the bucket to what's got to get done by everyone, everywhere. If they don't want to see a huge Earth out of business sign when they look up one day. And those people praying for me to help, maybe it makes them feel better. But honestly, is it really going to help? I mean, when it's dark out, just take a look up here. 1 zillion stars and galaxies. I mean, even if I work from home, you really think I've got the time to take personal calls with all I've got to deal with? Earth, you are not an only child. And if things weren't desperate enough, those greedy ignoramuses now want to start drilling in my Arctic looking for fossil fuels. I mean, haven't they wrecked enough of the environment, digging up and then fouling the atmosphere with their fossil fuels? If I knew this was going to happen, I wouldn't have killed off the dinosaurs. That's right. Maybe if they had a brontosaurus for next door neighbor, they'd be too busy trying to save their rear ends to do much damage to Mother Earth. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe I should just go ahead and pull the plug on them. And then the whole thing, start over somewhere else. I mean, there's sure as hell enough room out there in the galaxy. Move to the suburbs. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much blame on them. Maybe things would have been different if I hadn't rested on that 7th day. But all the work it took to get the Earth up and running, the mountains, oceans, all the animals and the insects. You don't believe how many different types of those crawly things I designed, and the people, don't get me started on that. And then acquiring just the right piece of real estate for all that. 3rd planet from the sun. Not too hot, not too cold. Actual oxygen to breathe. You know, I could have gotten a way better deal on a planet with nothing but methane to breathe, but no. That wasn't good enough. Not for my Earth. And all of that in only 6 days. So don't you think I had the right to be exhausted? 1 day off, was that too much to expect? But yeah, even so, maybe if instead of lounging around on a cloud with a brewski that day, I had taken the time to put the final touches on my job. Yeah, use that 7th day to impart some wisdom to those poor, dumb creatures I had created. And I'm talking about the people, not the animals. No, my animals, they have wisdom. They know how to live and let live. If they are forced to kill, it's only because they must do so. The true circle of life. But people for thousands of years, the countless death and misery and destruction they have caused and continue to do so, and so many have done so in my name. In my name, can you believe it? I ought to destroy them just for that. And now they've turned their hand to destroying my planet. The air and the waters befouled. My glorious ice caps shrink. My beautiful creatures of the land and sea robbed of food and habitat, becoming extinct. So do I get the blame for taking that 7th day of rest? Or it is their fault for all the horrors they've caused? I suppose that's a question. And you know, I've done my best to turn the other cheek, cutting some slack over the ages, starting with the Crusades on up. But this devastation? No. That's one screw up I just cannot forgive. Oh, but look at them down there. I made them in my own image. All those beautiful faces, those expressive eyes and so many lovely colors. And my favorite creation of all, those radiant smiles. I could kill them, all the destruction they've caused. So yes, I've come to a decision. It's time to be done with them. Rid my fair earth of their disagreeable pestilence, humankind to be banished, so that the earth and its creatures can flourish once again without them. Well, it took 6 long days to create it all, but thanks to the wonders of the digital age, it'll only take 1 minute to have all traces of man ever having trod the earth disappear. And now the end is near, and so they face the final curtain. Yes, here it is. My app, Extermination Mankind. Good, good, it's opening. Now the password. The password. What was that? Oh, yes. Boom, 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 with an exclamation point. Don't forget that. Oh, that's not it. It's not working. Wait. I think it's sayonara. Oh, no, not that either. Maybe supercalifragilis. Oh, not that one either. Damn. I should have written that down. Okay. So I guess it's fate. I'll give them one more chance to redeem themselves. So if he won't leave the White House, they're done for. But Joe and Kamala are in there. They just might accomplish something worthwhile in the next 4 years. I'll be watching. And I will too. Thanks to David, Bill, and all the other people at the Boog Festival for making today possible and such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. What happened here? Oh, there. Thank you, Alan. A lucky turn for us there. Our next play is from Davidson Garrett. Davidson is a poet and actor. He made his Boog City Poets Theater debut in 2012 with his poetic monologue, King Lear of the Taxi. In 2018, his spoken word play, Conspiracy Theory, The Mysterious Death of Dorothy Kilgallen, was featured in Poets Theater. His latest poetry collection, Arias of a Rhapsodic Spirit, was published in 2020 by Kelsey Books, and I can tell you it's a beautiful book. Davidson knows that family funerals are always high drama, a ritualistic script to freeze memory and neatly bury the secrets. Let's listen for secrets in an excerpt from Southern Low Protestant Departure, a funeral poem.
Southern Low Protestant Departure, a funeral poem, part 2. Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. Come home, come home, come home. Ye who are weary, come home. On the morning before the funeral at the old family home, nature's alarm clock, shrill blue jays on limbs of willows beckon the snoring tribe to arise from nightmares and disregard slumber fears. Sunshine sneaks through Venetian blinds from the empty bedroom of heaven's new citizen. Soon, the eldest woman survivor, wearing house robe and slippers, slaps smoked bacon on the kitchen grill to remind all good can still come from dead flesh. Hog fat lures the waking household round the kitchen table along with grits and buttered biscuits. Hungry stomachs growl until soothed by a soaking of chicory coffee. After the early morning meal, a summit meeting to synchronize arrangements, assuring the deceased dignified departure. Cousin Chris assigned airport chauffeur to fetch the Nolans from New Orleans. Carly May to supervise the Ladies' Church Guild, who will contribute fried chicken in covered dishes for a post-funeral supper. Uncle Hub serves as banker, writing checks to florist and preacher for fragrance and forgiveness. Great Aunt Jessie volunteers to guard Billy Sue, the crazed widow having flashbacks of Sam's suicide last year. Flashbacks triggering the breakfast cook to lie down and weep. Sorrowful, there is one less mouth to feed. Through the back door, always late Linda drags in two toddlers hours ahead of schedule, anxious to appease nitpickers who always mock she would be late for her own funeral. Her hyped up boys loudly scream until fed Ovaltine and bananas. Adults abruptly stand, ready to tackle task at hand. Ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling, telephone rings. Condolences with elaborate excuses for not attending today's goodbye salute. Doorbell tinkles. On the front porch, the lawn boy's devoted mother offers a bundt cake, expressing sorrow for the sad, sad news, then informing all Ronnie is quitting mowing grass to spend more time studying math. In-laws congregate like snooping foxes in the gloom of the mahogany den. They slyly grin at expensive objects to be passed on as the undertaker phones a message confirming the family limousine will arrive at 1. And then the whispers begin. Two sisters deceitfully hover by the staircase, mouthing loaded accusations. Has a lot of nerve to show up now. Where were they when the lungs exploded? They speak softly, but loud enough for eavesdroppers. Ammunition for fireworks to come when purple lilacs have withered after the final amen. Ivory bathtubs bathe animosity away. Nieces and nephews take turns to primp in bathrooms, perfuming this rambling old house with lily of the valley and Old Spice, freshening the sultry air blowing out of the Gulf. Clean branches from the same tree, a symbol in the living room, draped in sartorial finery. Grandfather clock, tick, 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 ticks. In unaccustomed silence, blood begins to sizzle. Lifelong resentments simmer on sofas, patiently waiting for the mortician's honeyed horn to honk. Come home, come home, come home, ye who are weary, come home. Southern Low Protestant departure, a funeral poem. Thank you all very much. A special thanks to Bill Considine, our wonderful curator. Many thanks to the marvelous Suzanne Mercury, and always for the indefatigable David Kirschenbaum, who has given me a wonderful venue today. Thank you.
Thank you, Davidson. Our final play is from Kathy Cavallone. Kathy is a teacher of middle and high school students. Her work has appeared in Four Walls, Sensations Magazine, the Rift Arts Forum publication, Beyond the Rift, Poets of the Palisades, Red River Review, Phantom Kangaroo, good titles, The Red Wheelbarrow, Turk's Head Review, The New Verse News, the Oddville Press, Z Composition, Rose Red Review. It's a poem in itself, On the Verge, and Nerve Lantern. She is also a Pushcart Prize nominee and lives in New Jersey with her husband George and son Michael. The cast is John J. Trouse and Kathy Cavallone. We could use more classic TV to escape these times. So we're fortunate that Kathy has found in the studio archives the lost episodes of the NBC hit show Blossom, starring Mayim Bialik. Take it away.
Okay, people. And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Blossom breaks Mr. Turner's window and must turn tricks to pay for the damages.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom does community service at Gitmo and makes a new friend.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom steals a can of Glade Spring Mist and begins huffing with 6 between classes.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Joey shows Blossom how to safely remove her mustache and improve her self-confidence.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom deals crack to the Girl Scouts to raise money for the Valentine's Day dance.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom experiments in mutual masturbation with Vinny and doesn't have to buy a ticket to the homecoming game.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom tends to a self-inflicted gunshot wound using the tourniquet method she learned about in health.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom and 6 videotape a shower scene for their To Kill a Mockingbird project.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom fears that she's pregnant, but soon discovers that it's only rickets.
On an all-new, very special Blossom.
Blossom snoops around in Joey's bedroom and finds out why he's always saying,
"Whoa!" On an all-new, very special Blossom. Okay, people, that's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both. That was very enjoyable.
Thank you.
Over to you, David.
All right, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Kathy and John. we're going to end with some music from Major Matt Mason USA. It's his band's first performance as an actual band. So look forward to hearing that. All the way from Kansas, here's Major Matt Mason USA.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to share this. Let's go.
Okay, hello. We're Major Matt Mason USA. We're happy to be here. This is our first
I think you lost the audio.
There's no audio right now.
You'll have to tell these guys to start again.
All right. This is a song we actually have a little demo recording of. It's called Victims of the Storm.
I'll compose the music for you, spinning Matt, I'm feeling in my back a little bit. You got any painkillers?
Hey, it's funny you mentioned that. That just happens to be the name of the next song. It's called Painkiller. And it's funny how we're wearing these masks. It might be something that someone who administers painkillers would be looking like. So we're going to administer this painkiller to you via our basement with our PPE. Rockin'. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm just realizing how strange it is to be like performing and not see my mouth moving and sound coming out. It must be a strange experience to watch. But
It's like high-end ventriloquism.
yeah, kind of. We really are performing. It's not about, you know. It would be good if we were lip syncing. It would be a good way to handle that, actually.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yes. Okay. Sometimes when you look at me, it feels like maybe you're afraid. Often I get terrified at things that people never do. Sometimes when you look at me, it feels like maybe we're the same. I spend half my life sidestepping shadows from the fallen Times at night, things look black and white. Casual conversation starts to flirt with formal fight. Think of all your powers, like early April showers. All that flying lunch space, perfect bed for flowers. All those sticky hearts holding out for something bigger, grip so tightly to their favors, like a finger on a trigger. And so, what if we decided to just let go of our crawling and second here. Hello. Hello. Close up. Close up.
Extreme close up.
I don't know why that hit it. All right, fantastic. This next one is also we have a recording of. It's called "Endless Summer." Everybody ready? Or cool. Happy to be closing out the Boog City Poetry Festival. These are, yeah. I have a history with that, with you guys, with David and everybody. These guys are new. These are my good friends, Dane and Brian on the bass. Dane on the drums. We got Brian. Yeah, I figured I might as well introduce them while we're taking this little break here. So. Hold on, I just blanked out. I always do that. Okay, I'm ready. right. Okay. We've got two more for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much to David for having us. And hopefully someday we'll get to maybe do one of these in person and take a trip out to New York and say hi to everybody. That would be a wonderful thing. So anyway, this one's called Difficult Love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this difficult love. Another fervent childhood, another frozen custard, another day of nothing left unsaid, another diamond bullet, another Dollar Tree, another open book beside your bed. Used to be much better at the calms before the storm. Used to know which way the wind would blow. Used to walk that pathway from the house out to the lawn. Now it's hard to know which way to go. Another stolen Oscar, another mired purchase, another piece of meat between your bread. Captivating midway, intimidating subway, another war for peace inside your head. All those damn rehearsals that we put each other through. Guess at times our goals were less than hard. Wanna say that loving you is an easy thing to do. Every time you offer me the heart, I'll say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this difficult love. Thank you for this difficult love. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this difficult love. Awesome. Okay. We got one more for you. This is a Daniel Johnston cover. It's called Mind Contorted. Anything you guys want to say? Are you doing okay? Everybody feeling okay?
We love you, New York. Stay safe.
Love
Wear
you
your
all.
masks. Be healthy. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for seeing us.
Yeah. Ready? Do you want to? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm going to now.
Thank you all. This was wonderful.
Beautiful.
Wonderful work too.
Yeah, it was a fun
Thank-
afternoon.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and being a part of it. Oh, I'm going to be a puddle of mush for the rest of the night, but this was a good afternoon.
Yes, thank you very
Like,
much.
oh,
Thank you, folks. Thanks so much.
thank you.
everyone.
It really worked out beautifully. Thanks for all your
It
help.
sure did. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop the recording now. There we go. And I'm going to stop